Hey guys, and welcome to another J stream. Apologies for the dislike of the music. Hey, it's just one of those free playlists I can use, so just one of those things. So today we're going to be doing a number of different things. We're going to be finishing the VEA off, which I've got the remaining switches for here. We're going to be talking through some of the recent bits and pieces I've got through the post, some from Pingu, some from some other people that have been really good. And then we're going to start to finish up the build on the VEA. We'll complete that today. We'll do a bit of a sound typing test. I'll show you what the Pandelios sound like when we've got it all built up. And from there we'll then start to have a look at maybe the Alice, which I've just taken apart for the first time, and I've got the switches ready to one side that's going to go on there. Glove's already seen it. Yes, this is the International Kit desk mat. As you can see, the lovely logo there. This came through the post earlier on in the week, and it very much thanks to Egler and Querdenker, who run the International Kit podcast. Thank you very much for having me on the show the other week, and this is a lovely desk mat, so thank you guys, I really appreciate that. Some of you might have already seen some pictures of this with a couple of my different boards on it out in the wild, so yeah, it is just genuinely really nice. They are running an interest check as well for an actual International Kit podcast desk mat group buy, so if you guys do like it, be interested, go get hold of one because it's really good quality. I think the final version is going to be slightly better than this as well, so yeah, I think you really like it, guys. It's really nice. I do wonder how Mark came out to me first at 7:11 when the stream wasn't even live then. He put the post in there first when I'd already got my app open. It's there. I'll show you a screenshot if you really want me to. It's just one of those things. Rope, Alice is in customs. Man, I'm sorry. Mine's here. Just off screen. This is the top piece. I'll be putting this together later on today. I might actually show you guys how I'm going to infill the logo as well, because I'm going to do a bit of an infill on the logo. So I might show you guys that. So yeah, so we'll have a look at this later on, and I'll show you the switches and everything else that we're going to build it up with. Let's just catch up with chat, see what's going on. Gio loves the desk mat. Yeah, it is brilliant. All the ISO keys everywhere. It's fantastic. The only so there's only one complaint I've got to make with this. I had a great idea when I knew this was on the way for a picture, and what I was going to do was going to have just different ISO keycaps on these around the logo. Only the ISO keycaps, as you can see, are quite a bit bigger than the logo. So Egler, Querdenker, on the final version, make these the same size as these, so I can fulfill my dream of taking that picture. But Geo, yeah, if you don't like ISO, you don't like ISO. It's just one of those things. I can't get used to ANSI, so you know, different strokes for different folks. Perhaps we should all move to VEA, big ass enter, and try and all use that. We can have a look at that. Push-ups, that doesn't count, obviously. Gonna continue moving. Fine, if you're gonna continue your movie, that's better than me. Fair enough. I don't blame you. I would too. It does count though, Martin. If my app's open and someone gets that, it counts. We've got Odin in the chat as well. Hey man, good to see you. Lunatics. Who else have we got that I've missed? Pingu. Actually, I've got something to show you guys from Pingu. It came just a couple of days ago as well. We've got Kyle as well. Hi Kyle, good to see you, dude. Yeah, we'll see how we get on. We're also going to talk later on about the next giveaway that I've got planned as well, and I'll give you guys a bit of an update on what that's going to look like and how we're going to do that. It's going to be slightly different to the last ones. We're going to run it in a slightly different manner, but it should be good fun anyway. And we've got Glue in the chat as well, my brother. Hey man, good to see you again, dude. ISO horny. Yeah, great. What did I get from Pingu? So what I got from Pingu is this rather nice set of Alps keycaps. So these were off some retro board, but they are ISO. They're kind of grey and white muted, but they're in great shape. They're in lovely condition. They don't need much cleaning or sorting out. All of the stabilisers there and everything else, and the inserts and everything. So it should be a really good set. They are Azerty, so they are German keycaps as far as I'm aware, but that'll just add some extra characters to the board when it's finally finished. So yeah, it's good. So yeah, so they're really nice. I do intend to use those for a build, maybe with some different alphas. I'm not sure yet. Pingu's trying to convince me to buy some 5140 alphas, the board that the Browns Alps Brown switches usually come off of. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure about that yet, whether I've been convinced or not. But those are really nice keycaps anyway, so they look great. They're in great condition. Can't wait to do a build with them. We've got Papa Harambe in the chat as well. Hey man, good to see you again, dude. Yeah, the 5140 alphas are really good. They are really, really nice. I'll potentially maybe look to swap them out, but I would prefer an ISO version if I can get an IO version. We've got Kosamon Noto. Sorry, I'm messing that up. I apologise. And we've got Chris in the chat as well. It is, yes, it's Jay. Hey man, good to see you, dude. Yeah. So the first things first. What we're going to do is just finish building up these switches. Once we've done that, I will then show you the build as it is today. The keycaps on the first half, which is the right hand half, so this side. We'll then put the left hand side together. I'll talk to you guys about how I did the infill on that, because it's very different to how I'm going to do the one on the TGR, because that's going to be paint. This was molten metal, so it's a little bit different. Okay, I'll just call you Kay. It's much easier. Thanks, man. Thank you for that. So yeah, so we'll finish these switches up. I'll talk you through them a little bit about what I've done to them and how they're going to feel as well. And we'll do a little bit of a sound type of test at the end when we've got both half of the board build up. What happened to the side cam? I feel like you're talking to me directly now and feel comfortable. So what happened to the side cam is before in my office. My office is my desk is kind of shaped like an L. So I have the desk here that you can see. It kind of goes for a meter in that direction and a meter in that direction. But then after the meter in that direction, it turns right and forms an L shape. And on that L, I used to have the TV that's on the wall behind me. And the camera that you can see here, this one here, where you can see my face, that one was actually perched on top of that TV. But now I've moved the TV off there, popped it on the wall, which has been the plan for a year, and I just never got around to doing it. And my 3D printer now lives on the L, or the small part of the L. So that's what's happened. That's why the camera's now right in front of me. It probably does make it a little bit more personal, but hey, I love speaking to you guys. I love being here. I love doing these streams for you. So, you know, I think it's probably a little bit better. And Pie Packer, you just have to listen to my voice. You don't have to look at my face if you don't want to. So yes, that's what happened to the room. The 3D printer's not on today. It's turned off. I might show you some of the parts that I've been printing in a bit as well, because they're quite cool. But what we'll do first is we'll start off with getting into the switches ready for the VEA. I have lubed most of these already. We'll cover off lubing a few right at the very bottom. Just following my standard method. Most of you guys have seen it by now, but for anyone new, anyone tuning in for the first time, we'll give those a bit of a lube. I'm not sure if this shows up for you guys as well, but one thing I am trying to do, which is really silly and petty really, is I'm trying to create a gradient as we go across the board. So I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there's kind of like on a diagonal axis here, these get darker in terms of the stem colours, so you should be able to see there's much different from here to here. There's actually 3 different colours as we go across the board. It shows up much better in real life than it does on the camera. And it effectively just mirrors the 1976 style shaping. So as you can see, what I've done here is I've actually laid out the switches as they'll go on the board broadly, in terms of matching up to the plate. I'll show you guys what I mean. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to copy what the plate kind of layout would look like, to just get my diagonal lines all aligned. But effectively they're all the same stems. They're Zelio stems. They're just different, but these have got the same weight spring in them. So in the actual switches that you bought from Zeal, you would have different weight switches. I've just replaced them all with my 78 gram strings. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It doesn't show up as great with these as it does with the Xylent Zeal switches, because their blues are very different when you look at the different key weights, or you could do with mod switches to have very, very different colours and things like that. So, yeah, something I wanted to do. It probably doesn't show as well as it could, especially on camera, but at least I know it's there, and that's the main thing. So what we'll do is we'll just finish fixing these switches. These ones have already been lubed, the springs as well, and we'll cover my lubing method in just a few minutes, but what we'll do is we'll get all of these in here. And as you can see, I have laid these out as they will be put into the board. So this is where step caps is, and this is where I've got the split space on the bottom row, and this is kind of the shape of the indentation that it takes as well. So if you ignore the fact that these are effectively orthodox, but imagine that the stagger was there. You can kind of broadly see how I've laid it out. Next level modding. I'm not sure if that's the case. It's just something a little bit fun to do. As a lot of you guys know, I like to have a bit of fun with these builds. I don't want them to be boring or too similar to other people's builds, so I do try and do some things a little bit differently. If you guys think it's over the top or stupid, tell me. It's happening, so that's where we're at. And then once we've done this as well, as I said, we're going to talk about the next giveaway and also talk about the switches that are going into the Alice. So we will be putting Nixie switches in there, which have been taken apart and cleaned in my ultrasonic cleaner. They've been cleaning for the past few days. They're now all ready to be reassembled. I am going to take it very steady with those. They aren't going to be lubed in terms of the switches themselves. They're vintage, they're pretty smooth as it is. I am going to lube the stems and I am going to lube the springs just to take a little bit of that ping off them because they're old. But other than that, they're going to be pretty much stock. I am going to use the stock springs. I'm not going to put anything different in there. So yeah, that's that. Now I have to work out with me if I'm going to have the caps on or off. I guess it depends how obvious it is when we've got the plate and everything in there to kind of give a decent background colour rather than the clear of the acrylic. I suspect it won't be very obvious, in which case I'll probably just leave them on and tell anyone it's there. Okay, so I'll just keep on putting these tops on. So these are the Utamu Ice V2 low wobble tops that we're slipping on here. And that's just to make these a little bit more sturdy. Martin, stop trying to shill stuff in the stream, man. It's not fair on other people, really. So yeah, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about as well today was the new Zeal switches, so Zeal V2s. So Zeal announced these just the other day with Helios being a silent Telio switch that's coming out, so they're the orange stem ones. They sound really interesting. I will be keen to see how they stack up against MX Silence. But one of the big things that Zeal did say in his newsletter is that the new V2 stems will look to be more tactile than Holy Pandas. Apparently that's the word on the street. I did ask Zeal who was the word that had given that steer, and he wouldn't tell me, but apparently there are some samples going to Brian Huey and a few other people, so I'm really interested to see what they actually feel like. If they are as tactile as Holy Pandas, they could be a game changer for stock tactile switches. I'd suspect that they're going to feel very different and they'll sound very different, but we'll have to wait and see how they come out. Zeal did say that the bump was now more round, and that it was slightly lower on the thing. So I am really interested to see how they do, and we'll see what that's going to be like. Go away, Martin. Use the rubber dome. I can't do. You have? Can I have what? I'm not sure I follow that. Like a real force or something. Topra. Ooh, nah, I'm not a fan of Topra. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Topra, but it will be interesting to see how these new Zeal stems stack up. He hasn't got the new V2 housings as yet, he said when I spoke to him just a couple of days ago. He's waiting for those. They've got an updated leaf and some other tweaks and changes to the housings as well. So that'll be interesting to see how they stack up. He's only tried the new stem in the old housing, and he still says that is more tactile than a Holy Panda. I'll call me surprised if it is, but I hope he's true to his word. He does say that it will stand by it. So we'll have to wait and see. I've got a few hundred of them coming, so we'll see. How do these switch tops compare to stock Gatorons? So these are a little bit so there is less wobble. I can't really show you, but there is less wobble in them. I think the sound on the Gatorons is probably a touch better, but I'd prefer to have the stability, especially on a board that's going to be used untented at an angle where I'm potentially going to hit the keycaps off centre. That's mainly the reason why I've built it this way. But yeah, they are good tops. The other tops that I like to use as well are the Bison tops, because they fit properly on the Panda bottoms. You don't have to force them on at the corners or anything like that, which you sometimes have with these. When we go to fit them in the plate, you might see that I have to nip a couple of the switches closed again just to get these on. So the Bison tops as well, they're quite good, but the problem is you need to make sure you keep them well away from your Panda bottoms, because the Beeson bottoms are almost identical. In fact, I sent some of the Beeson bottoms through to Walker, and he had a bit of a look. And whilst the leaf and everything else and housing of the base looks the same from a Panda to a Beeson, there is some differences in terms of how the leaf reacts to movement and pressure and stuff like that. So you absolutely don't want to use those bottoms, but you can use the tops, and they're quite good. But the Utami Ice V2 tops, they work really well. I quite like them. I got these as a batch when I bought my Sky switches off Paul just a couple of weeks ago. So yeah. Okay, so that's all of those built. I'm not going to pop these out because we are going to pop them out and put them into the plate one by one because they're going in this order. But what we'll move on to in a second after caught up on chat is just finishing off these last 5 switches here. So we've got a lighter stem going there, and then we'll get darker as we go across as well. So I've got all those laid out here. That's why that one's there and these are here. You can probably see the colour difference there actually. These are slightly darker than that one. Not sure if it shows on the camera. Did Zeal mention anything regarding wobble for V2? He did say they'll be less wobbly. I think that just means that they'll be stiffer around the stems, they'll be tighter, less tolerant. I've got facts in the chat. Hey man, I hear you've booked your trip ready for the Scotland meetup that's in a couple of months' time. I'm going to have a look at my calendar when I get to work tomorrow and see if I can make the trip as well. When you use SA, it has quite a bit of wobble, but you have old round zeals. Yeah, I don't think there's many switches that don't have wobble with SA keycaps. Even the even these have still a little bit of wobble, because the higher you get, the more lateral force you can move. It's basically a fulcrum around a pivot, and yeah, you end up moving them a little bit. Papa Harambe wants some Holy Pandas. I've got them in this. So this is my canoe that's just here. These are Holy Pandas in this board. I'll show you. There we go, Holy Pandas in this board. They do sound really nice. There we go, yeah. Some of my favourite switches. I've got a couple of other boards with them in as well, but that's probably one of my favourite top 5 boards. I really love it. The thing with tactility, there's a lot more to it than just the amount. There is, you're right actually. So you're absolutely spot on this. There's a lot to tactility. And there's a lot with Holy Pandas that aren't down to the tactility, which is why they're so well liked, and a lot of that's the sound profile and the feel of them. So in terms of tactility, there's three key things that are important for me. One is, can you feel the bump? If you can feel the bump, that's a good sign immediately off the bat. There's some tactile switches where you can't feel the bump. A brown would be an example of that. So first and foremost, can you feel the bump? Secondly, what does it feel like out when you bottom out? I'm trying not to swear on stream here. So when you bottom out, is there a nice tap at the bottom as it hits the base? Is there a muted sound? Is there a dull sound? What does that sound like and feel like as well? And that all depends on the base of the switch and the base of the stem. And then the third thing is, what does it sound like? And sound is probably the most the differentiating factor for most people. So what I like, you guys might not like, and what other people might not like, you guys might like. So it's all kind of different for everyone. But the key for me with sound is, does it have a deep resonant thok? Is it too high pitched and crap, or is it nice and low and deep sounding and sound great? And some of that will come down to plate material and keyboard build and keyboard style. Is it a tray mount? Is it a top mount? All of those kind of things can affect it, but you can still have what the stock switch feels like in your hand. And Holy Pandas have a really, really strong sound profile. They're really nice, really interesting sound. Now, I'm not sure whether... I don't think Zeal V1s sound as good as Holy Pandas, for a start, but I think that's the housing's fault, not the stems. So it'll be interesting to see what the V2 sound like with a replacement bottom part, with a new leaf and a new stem design. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. That's the only thing we can do, is wait and see what the reviews are like when they come out, see what people have to say about them. Are they as good as Holy Pandas? I have to watch this space, but it's a very, very bold claim by Zeal, I will say that, a very bold claim. Holland got some Beeson bottoms off Matt and just looking for stems. I've probably got some stems somewhere around, but they're not great. If it was me and I had a ton of Beeson bottoms, what would I do? I would probably put Zelio stems in them and make a softer tactile Pandelia is what I'll probably do. Although, what do you call it? Sunny Zelio or something. I don't know. You'd have to go with your own name, but yeah, that's probably what I would do. But they wouldn't be quite as nice. What else are we talking about? Watching CSGO and J stream at once. Nice. I hope who you want to win is winning. Do you recommend it to lube Kale Stottle switches, Aristotle stem and a Kale Pro housing? I've never used that Odin, if I'm completely honest, but I do like to lube the Kale Pro housings when I use those switches, so I can't see any reason why you wouldn't want to lube it for an Aristotle stem. I assume they're quite clicky, but yeah, we'll see. Does it thok good? I assume you mean the canoe? I'll let you guys decide. I really love the sound profile. It's one of my favourite boards. And Martin's got himself a HKB Tofu, and he hates the HKB layout. Why did you buy that, man? Why? I quite like the layout, but I wouldn't buy it if I didn't like it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to quickly move on to lubing these switches, and then we can carry on with the build and try and finish that off as quickly as we can. We've got Stocks as well in the chat. Hey man. Good to see you, dude. I'm going to have a look tomorrow and make sure I can come to your meetup. And Kay thinks it does stock good, so yeah. So this is my lubing method. I know we've talked about it before on stream, but I'll just cover it again. So what we're going to do is go into this switch here. So what I like to do is use a long, thin model painting brush, a little bit of lube on the brush, just enough so it feels damp, so it looks damp, not so that it's got a blob on it or anything like that. Into the base of the stem, around the stem holder, up one side for the slider housing, up the other side for the slider housing, and then what we do is go into the middle of the stem slot, rotate that round a few times, and nicely lube it. And this is with Krytox 106 as well. This is nice thick Krytox 106. And we're just going to do the same for these other few switches. So into the base, very little lube on your brush, just so it looks damp. Up one slider rail, up the second slider rail, into the base of the switch, and just rotate it round. And then we're just going to repeat that for the remaining 3 switches, and then we'll move on to the springs. So into the base, around the bottom of the base, up the slider rail, up the other slider rail, into the stem centre, and then we're back onto the last 2. As I say, this is more of an exercise in using less is more. Too much lube will ruin your switches. If you don't put enough in, you can always go back and add more lube. So always try and use as little lube as possible. See, I'm not even dipping in the lube here. I'm just literally using what's on the inside of the tube, into the base, all the way around, up one side, up the other side, into the stem holder, and just a nice little amount of lube there. Okay, and that's the housings lubed with 106. As I said before in the previous stream, I'm not lubing the stems on this build. That's just personal preference, trying to keep as much tactility as I can. So yeah, we're just going to lube the springs after this with some Krytox 104. Martin needs a hot swap board. Get a GH60, man. Much better. I'm just going to change my brush for my other brush for the 104. So I've got 2 brushes that I use that are identical. One I label in a 104 pot, and one that I label in a 106 pot. So what we're going to do now is move on to the 106. Sorry, the 104. Sorry, we've used the 106. Just going to pop these springs into these switches here. These are 78 gram sprit springs, which have been uniform across the board. Normally I'd put a heavier spring in space, but given the fact that I'm having 2 small space bars on this, one for either thumb on each side of the VEA, there's not going to be a heavier one in this one. Okay, and then we're just going to quickly lube these springs. So the 104 is a lot runnier, so this I do dip into the lube, and then I really wipe it. I'm trying to show you this, guys. Really wipe it all around the edge. Make sure there's very little on the brush. Into the inside of the spring, rotate it around. Make sure your brush is long enough to reach all of the parts of the spring, and then come off. And then we're just going to rinse and repeat. Just do this 5 more times. As I say, you're wiping off more lube than you put on the brush. Into the spring, rotate it round, And what this is going to do is just take away any potential chance of ping or any potential crunchiness. It's just going to make this, these springs just feel a little bit better. Oop, lifting this one out. 2 more to go. Oh, we've got TFT Kaz subscribing. Thanks, man. Thanks for the subscription. Really appreciate that. As always, any subscription values, any donations, any bit donations, anything like that, that's all going to get put into a pot, and it's going to go to a giveaway in a couple of weeks' time, which we'll talk about later on. And just big thanks, shout out to Querdenker, Chris Swires, and Gio, who last week all donated 400 bits via Twitch, which was the biggest ones. So yeah, so really looking forward to being able to do that giveaway in a couple of weeks. And as I say, we'll discuss that a little bit more later on. So there we go. So that's that one done. Just going to do the last one just here. There we go. All the way down the inside of the spring. Rotate it round. Nicely lubed. As I say, less is more when it comes to lubing. Always put on as little as you can, and then you can always add more later on if you need to. What shelves are you using to display your keyboards behind? Hey Matt, so these the shelves that I have behind me, these are custom made by a friend of mine who's a joiner. So they're very, very similar to IKEA style shelves, but these were handmade by a friend. He just wanted to do the job for me, I think, and it gave him a bit of a project to do. But they're held up with a few more bolts than what the standard ones come, because some of the boards are quite heavy, and that's just a plasterboard wall. So yeah, so I can send you the designs or a picture of them. Dead easy, not a problem to do. We've got the Pokemon Kid in the chat. Hey Matt, good to see you, man. We were talking about the meetups earlier on. We've got Stocks' meetup in Scotland coming up in a few weeks. So for those of you that don't know the Pokemon Kid, Matt, he runs the MK UK server for the hobby, and he also runs the meetups, the annual meetups as well, for the group. And as I say, Stocks is running a meetup in Scotland in just a couple of weeks' time. I think it's 15th of December, something like that, Stocks, I think. And that's going to be in Edinburgh, so I can't wait to see that. Way, and we've got 289 bits from Evil Genius and 400 bits from Eglo. Way, thanks guys, appreciate that. They're going to go straight into the pot for the giveaway, so I'll make sure they're getting there as well. So thanks very much, folks. Really like that. A few weeks. Oh yeah, it's a few weeks. It is a few weeks. What is it? Less than 12 weeks to Christmas, so it's 10 weeks away. Yeah, it's not that far. Yeah, it'd be good to see you up there, man. I think I'm probably going to try and make a trip up there. I think this is off my other brush actually. Let me pop that over there. Yeah, I'm going to try and make the trip up. And yeah, we'll have a few bucky bombs. That definitely sounds like a pun. So we're just going to carry on with these stems and put them in. So as I say, I'm not lubing these stems. These have been ultrasonically cleaned. And as I said before, we're going darker as we get across. So as you can see, it does get dark as you come down towards this corner. There's just 2 colours here. The third colour being up there. Okay, so that's the switches pretty much done. We'll put these Ice V2 lowerable tops on. And we're almost done. There we go. There we go. So that's all the switches done. As I say, I'm not going to pop them out of here because, as we talked about earlier on, these are broadly lined out with the way that the plate will be. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these out, pop them into the plate as we go, make sure we keep this nice diagonal pattern going, fill out the rest of the plate. And then this is the other PCB for the VEA. This is the one we did desoldered on stream a couple of weeks ago, so this is the bottom side of it. It's all nicely desoldered. It will need a clean down with some isopropyl once we've resoldered it back together, but we'll wait until it's soldered up to do that. The old stabs are still included here. We'll pop these out in a second. I haven't got around to taking those out as yet, as you can hear. Horribly rattly. So we'll rebuild those in a second. We'll put the EPBT stabs in, which are the same as the Zeal stabs, as we discovered the other week on stream. So we'll put those in here and make sure that all aligns with what we expect to see on the plate. As you can see, we're going to have a slightly different layout for this because we're not going to need this particular stabilizer just there. We're just going to need one in the bottom here. So we'll do that in just 1 second. As I said before, these are the lovely copper plates that came from Laser Boost. Laser Boost have absolutely been fantastic. So yeah, can't blame them, can't fault them. And thanks again to Martin for helping me design these plates just so that they would fit in the VEA. There's a lot of work that went into those. Really hard to get them sorted, or I think it was anyway. But Martin managed to do a fantastic job. So we'll just catch up with chat, see what's going on. This is Edinburgh Smack My Head. The only bottles I've seen in the street were Prosecco. Yeah, that's true. Glove caps. Does the other half of the VEA have the same grading on the switches? No, it doesn't. It has a deep purple all across the second-hand side, so very much like 1976 would, or GMK 1983. It has the 3 bands, and then it keeps the solid colour afterwards. So yeah, it's just on the one side. I wish it was in reverse. That would have been cool, but I didn't think of doing this until after I'd already soldered the other half of the board together on the stream last week. Copper plate gang soon. Yeah, so I've had copper plates for about a year now. This will be my second full build with copper plates, but I've got the Nox VEA 75 prototype, which has got a copper plate as well. I might show you that, guys, later on as well, because I've been trying to get that to patina over time, whereas I want these ones quite shiny. So it looks really, really good as well, and I'll show you guys how that's going on. So that's all the switches done, put together. These all feel highly tactile, Panda bases. As I say, some of these don't clip in properly unless you give them a right good press. Utemu Ice V2 lowable tops. Let's just get all these pressed in nicely. I think we're pretty much there. As you can see, these tops don't fit on the Panda bases. That a bit more pressure than standard. There we go. So they're all in nicely now. So we shouldn't have any problems when we're building the plate up. The other thing as well is I want to just remind you guys that this is the VEA top part. So this has actually been molten copper that we filled this in with. I'm not sure if you can see that that's almost flush with the surface now. So how I did this was I got a load of copper leaf, melted it down. Once it was there, I poured it in and then tried to smooth it off as quickly as possible to avoid damaging the anodization, and then cleaned it up with some isopropyl alcohol just around the edges once it was done. It's come out really well. I really love the look of it. Molten copper does have a slightly different tint to the actual copper plates, as you can see, but it should just finish the build off nicely. It looks really, really good. Bit dangerous, bit heart-wracking, a bit nerve-wracking, but I'd absolutely do it again if I had to. We've got Soren in the chat as well. Hey Soren, welcome to the chat. Good to see you again. Yeah, so there we go. So what we're going to do now is build up this half. The only thing I haven't desoldered off this board is the 3 LEDs up in this top corner, which are the indicator LEDs for the VEA. All 3 of these are amber LEDs, and I think that's just going to fit fine with the copper. So I didn't want to change them just to do them. So yeah, will in time it patina? It will patina in time, but it won't go so much from touch because you're not going to touch it too much. What it won't go like, I'll show you how bad it won't get. Give me a second. So this is a plate that I'm trying to get a patina on. This is the second build for the Nox VEA 75, and as you can see, this has got a lovely patina starting to grow on it. Just for comparison, you can see this is how this one started off. They were both exactly the same, and over time it's got a lovely patina on. Now the way I got this patina was I just left it stood up in the side in the shower for the past 2 weeks, and whenever the shower's being used, the board's got wet. I then took it out, popped it in the dishwasher, give it a nice good clean in the dishwasher, and this is what we've been left with, which is a really nice patina that's aging the plate really nicely. In terms of the shiny plate, this is what the first half of the VEA looks like now it's built, as you can see with GMK solarized dark on there as well. Hold on a second, when I can get the board untangled from a mess of cables. So this is the first half built, so as you can see the copper shines through really nicely. You can see that it's really bright as the copper. It looks really good with GMK solarized dark. I do have a replacement Pexon cable coming from this part here, so that will match in with the key set. So he's going to have that soon. A bit of a type test for you. As you can see, it's one of my favourite boards. It looks fantastic. VEA on the bottom. Needs a bit of a wipe clean, some fingerprints, but yeah, that's broadly what we're going to look like on the second half once we're done. So let's go ahead and get these switches into the new plate. Let me just move everything out of the way here. here's the shiny VEA plate, as we mentioned. And what we're going to do is, learning from the previous VEA half build, what we're going to do here is put the switches into the plate. And once they've gone in the plate, we'll then get the PCB prepped with the stabilizer, and then we'll push both together, and then we'll crack on with the soldering. So as you can see, this is lovely and shiny. It will stay like this for a little while. It will start to patina and age, as Matt asked, but yeah, it looks great as it starts off. So we're just going to start and pop these switches out one by one, get them in the plate, and then we'll go forward from there. Just going to pop these in. So this plate is 2mm thick. Everyone asks me, do switches clip into 2mm plates? I think that's your answer. They do. Just yeah, you have to be a little bit careful with them, but yeah, they do clip in. When measuring this with calipers, it's actually 1.89mm, but I think that's due to the polishing process. It just takes a couple of millimeters off the plate. But yeah, that one's not clipping. There we go. So shiny. It is lovely and shiny. Some people like shiny, some people like patina. I like both, so it's nice to have boards with both as an option. Just get these in nicely. So this is where I mentioned that some of these switches don't clip together properly because the tops are so tight. There we go. And now that should fit into that. There we go. This is where we're just being really careful that we're following that diagonal design that we talked about earlier on. As I say, there is 3 or 4 different coloured stems on this build. Again, this one's not quite gone together properly, so just double checking, just making sure that they're on there. Better to have the tight tops than not have them. Do I prefer polished or raw brass weights? I think it depends on the board, to be honest. I think I prefer the powder coated, sorry, the bead blasted brass plates. So I prefer the finish that's on the bottom of the CGRS. I'll show you that actually. I prefer this look and finish. So as you can see, it's kind of matte. It's not too shiny. I think that looks really nice for a bit of brass. Probably one of my favourite finishes to a bit of metal. You know I like it tight stocks, it's got to be tight. So we're just going to go row by row here, making sure we've got them all in place, all in position. These are really tight. And these are the last of the pandas that I have as well. After this, there are no more pandas. I'll have to try and find them, just like you guys do on Mech Market. If anyone's wondering what this little cutout here for, that is for the SATA cable. That's just where the SATA cable sits, and this little cutout is where the USB sits. Try and get a little bit faster by lining these up and then pushing them in afterwards. Yeah, that's laser boost for you. Yeah, the tolerance is really good with laser boost. They're exactly what you ask for. There's no give or take. It's exactly what you ask for. You get what you ask for. All these in, and then we'll move on to the next row. There we go. The only other thing to mention as well is that raw materials like this, they will get fingerprints on, and those fingerprints, if you don't clean them, will start to tarnish the board and add the patina to it. So if you don't like it to be like I do, like the X75 board that I showed you, do make sure that once you've done your build, you clean it down with some isopropyl alcohol. Take all of those fingerprints off there before they start to get patina on them, just making sure they all look good. So on this board we are going to build it with stepped caps. For those of you who know me, I nearly always build with stepped caps. So we're going to make sure we're aligned for that. The only change to this board where it doesn't support a fixed layout is on the caps key, and that's literally because some key sets don't support stepped caps, so I have to make sure that I can switch that switch out if needed. And as always, we are using the condoms on the bottom of the legs of the pandas. But what we'll do is on some of the switches down at the bottom, the switch holes won't allow us to push the condoms through, so we'll have to take them off. But we can do that nice and easily. Your Les Boost order is coming in next week as well as tangerines. Nice. Which Les Boost order is this, Martin? And tangerines as well. Yeah, they are one of my favourite linear switches. I've got them in a couple of different builds. I've got some switches coming as well. A half plate for the VEA 68M and a fixed plate for the tray mounted tofu. Nice. They both sound pretty cool. Personally, I prefer a fixed plate. If I'm going to have choice over a plate, I'm going to prefer to have it fixed. As I say, the only place where we don't have a fixed plate on this particular board, is just around the caps lock key, and that's purely so that we can change it from a stepped caps to a normal caps if needed, really quickly and really easily. And there we go. So all of those switches ready. Okay, cool. So that's, as you'll see, that's how it's going to sit onto the PCB. That's just going to go underneath there like so. And what we're going to do now is get rid of these old stabilizers. These are fake Chinese cherry stabilizers, fake ones, not real ones. They're terrible, horrible and rattly. Yeah, not great. Gouty in the chat as well. Oi Buttman, how did you get your hands on an international kit desk mat already? Hey man, I was their first guest, man. I was their first guest. I've had it for a few days now. I also know who else has got one, which might give you a clue. Second guess. But yeah, looking forward to that one as well. And many fongers, yes. Sorry, many fongers, many pies. Yes, I forgot. Fongers, not fingers. Always fongers. We're just going to take this last stabilizer out here. So we're just nipping the PCB mount part out, and there we go. And they in the bin, off they go, forevermore to be gone. So as we say, when we put this on here, you'll see that everything aligns nicely. The only thing that we have to do now is put the stabilizers in for this switch here. Now we are going to use EPBT stabilizers, which I have here, and as we discussed on stream last week, these are identical to Zeal stabs. I did have a conversation with Zeal about them after the stream last week. He assured me that they are not the same as Zeal stabilizers. I'd still refute that. I still think they're absolutely identical. The plastic's the same, the tooling's parts are the same, everything else. Zeal maintains that they weren't made on the same production line as his stabilizers, and after a short while of questioning, he confirmed that apparently the molds or the designs for the molds that used for his stabilizers were sold from Gateron to EPBT, and EPBT have then made their own molds which are identical to Zeal's molds. So I don't know what the truth is. I can only take Zeal at its face value. Either way, as far as I can tell, there is absolutely zero difference between the Zeal stabs and the EPBT ones. Just as a matter of interest, I have got a friend who's at university. He's got a bag of 2 of each stabilizer, both housing, insert, and also the wire as well. He's going to have a look at them under a microscope and see if he can see any differences in the way that they're put together. See whether the fingerprints from the molds are identical, and that will tell us whether they are made on the same production line or whether they're made on a separate production line. So yeah, Gary, the two differences, or there are two differences. The first one is where you buy them from. You either buy them from Zeal PC or you buy them from Taobao. Or alternatively, the second difference is, or not alternatively, but the second difference is the price. I think for the same stabilizer set, so a 6.25 U, a 7U space, and I think it's 5 or 6 2U stabilizers, that's £50 or $50, sorry, from Zeal. From Taobao, I think that's $17. So plus shipping, of course, but you have shipping from both. Zeal does mark down on packages, so you can't really take that into consideration or anything like that. But yeah, that is the big difference. So as I say, Zeal confirms to me that they are the same. That they are made with molds that are made from the same designs. I still feel that they're probably made on the same factory line. He completely refuted that, denied it. So you know, he should know more than me. That's one thing I would say, but whether or not that is the case, we'll find out after we've had a look under a microscope. So we'll get those results on stream in a couple of weeks. These are technically EPBT ones. As far as I'm concerned, they're still Zeal snaps. Yeah, Stocks, that is the point. I did ask him why would I buy Zeal ones given the fact that EPBT ones are now that price. He didn't have an answer for that, especially if they're made in the same molds. He didn't answer that question, so I can't say any more on that. Yeah, so I can give you the Taobao link afterwards. Hold on, that's not a problem. A man's got to eat, yeah, very much so. And to be honest, who cares if they are slightly different, if they work the same and look the same? I can't find any differences, to be honest, and they are really good as Zeal stabs. Personally, I still prefer stabs from Fax. The only reason I'm using these is because I've got them, and well, it makes sense to use up the stocks that I have. But 9 times out of 10, I will build with GMK or Cherry screwing stabs, or whichever you want to call them. And I think they are much better than the Zeal or the PBT ones anyway. Is there any reason to choose these over GMK though, apart from the colours? Oh, again, no, there isn't. The only reason why you'd want to choose these actually is in a lot of the new Rama boards and things like that, they're actually putting LEDs underneath the stabilizers. So if you want in-switch LEDs and switches and LEDs, underneath your stabilizers, you can use these for that. But that's it. And as you say, Gouty, if they are slightly different and they work the same and look the same and sound the same, more importantly, then why would you bother doing that? You can sell the board as having Zeal stabs and get a bit more from the buyer. I don't sell, so yeah. If Zeal makes them purple, he can charge whatever. Well, to be honest, Zeal's a businessman. He's trying to make money. That is the aim of his business. Whether I think it should be $50 for these, if the Taobao guys are still making a profit at $17, I don't know. But yeah, Fax. Just for proof, I've literally got stabilizers lying from Fax around all over the place. And I'm actually going to give Fax a little bit of a shout. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this or not, but he might tell me off afterwards. He knows what I'm going to say as well. I bet this Fax. He's probably going to type and tell me not to say anything. But I ordered these off Fax the other day. They came. These are screenshots. I use these all the time. One thing that Fax has asked me to test though is some new screws. So these are hex screws. Or hex bolts, rather than, they're not going to show up on camera, but they are hex bolts, rather than the standard posi drive ones as well. So Fax is actively testing these. So I don't know if these are going to make it into his product bag, but they do feel nicer. I prefer to use these. They feel a bit more secure, a little bit different, and when you tighten them up, you know what you're getting. They're not, you know exactly what you're getting. Whereas posi drive, yeah, I'd rather use these if I can. So yeah, just proof that I've got stuff. I'm going to use Fax more often than not. So we're going to pop these in the board in a second. We are going to lube this really quickly, so I'll show you my lubing method again. So as always, back to my trusty car lube, and then I use the same brand of brushes, but I use a smaller brush for this, just because I don't need it to be as long. There we go. So don't need much, just enough on the brush to cover it. In fact, what I usually do is pop a little dollop into the lid, move it off to one side. I'll come back to that when we're done. Okay, so we've got a tiny bit of lube on our brush. What we're going to do is just brush both sides of the slider. So we're going to do side one here. Try and angle that so you can see. Side one there. Turn it over. Side two there. I'm going to dip the brush back in, get a little bead on the end of the brush. I'm going to go into the back of the stabilizer. This is where the wire pokes through. I'm just going to cut that there. With what's left on the brush, we're just going to brush it round on the corner, on the front of the stabilizer. That's just going to take away any squeaks that we get there as well. And then the last part, we're just going to take a rice-sized piece on the front of from the front to the stabilizer to the back, just on the underside. Just make sure that's all painted on nicely. Should have enough lube on your brush to do the second side. I'm just going to do one side of the slider housing there, flip it over, do the other side, and again, you don't need to add too much, you're just reducing the friction between the parts. Small blob on the end of the brush, into the back of the stabilizer, right where the wire is. Wipe the remainder on the wire, just around the front, and then a rice-sized blob just on the underneath, front to back, and pen that in nicely. And that's that done. Put the lid on, let's lube before it runs everywhere. There we go. But yeah, dielectric grease, dirt cheap, works really well, is absolutely fantastic for this stuff. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just line up where we need to put the stabilizer. So on this particular build, we can see that we're using this end one here. We've got two holes, a large and a small. The large hole is where the front of the stabilizer goes with the wire, and we're just going to clip that down into the back of the circuit board, just there, like so. We're going to flip it over. Oops. In fact, it's right on the edge, as you can see on this one. So we're going to have to hold it to screw it in. Right, flip it over, get the screws ready, just finger tighten them in. Now, we shouldn't be shorting anything out on this one, and the reason we shouldn't be shorting anything out is because we're only touching one point underneath. If you guys can see that there's only one point that it's touching, so it shouldn't short anything out just there. Now that's in, we'll tighten it up with a screwdriver. And again, you're only tightening just so it's tight. You don't want to be squishing the PCB. Make sure it's all nice and flush. Don't want to try and crush the PCB, you're just trying to put the screw in nicely. Okay, we're going to put the second one in. Again, this is only touching one point, so it shouldn't cause anything to short circuit or anything like that. If it does, we can always take a look at that afterwards as well. And there we go, that's the stabilizer mounted for this particular one. And as you can hear, no rattle whatsoever. I guess the threads are the same, so it would just feel better when you put them in. Yeah, like with the screwdriver, it's a bit awkward. With a hex nut, you know, you can get that really fine control over it. You've got your arm, you can get a bit more control over it. It's harder to cross thread a hex bolt as well, in my opinion, which is often something that happens with these. And you've got much more finer control over how much you torque in the screw as well. So I just think it'd be really good. Yes, the screw part is exactly the same. Other stab housings for GMK screw-ins threaded, or the screws act as self-tapping. The screw part is threaded, so there is a thread just on the inside of them as far as I'm aware. I'll have a look. Yeah, there's a very fine thread just in there, stocks, that's the answer. I try and show that on stream, but you'll never catch it on the camera. Okay, so now we've got that built, what we're going to do is we're going to just align this to the board. Now, one thing that I know we will have to do is somewhere on this bottom row, we're going to have to remove some of the condoms from the legs. So what we're going to just have a look at is where that happens. So we can see that we're going to be able to line up at the top of the board just fine up here. There doesn't seem to be any obstructions. Everything feels like it will clip in. If I give it a push hard enough, yeah, we're going to be okay there. Now, when we look down at the bottom of the board, oh, switch come out. That's where we might have a couple of problems. So I'm just pushing it together gently, working my way down the board, seeing if we're going to have any problems anywhere. So the first problem I can see is here. If you can see, these holes here are a lot smaller than the round ones, so that switch isn't going to go in without a bit of a fight. The rest of the board looks like it's going to go in. A couple of switches are going to have to pull out. And there we are, that's all aligned. So we've just got one switch on the bottom row that's definitely going to have to come out, take the pins off. We've got another one just on the top row here, That's popped out. There we go, that's now in place. Making sure we've got the right colours in here. This one as well, I think that just popped out because of the way I was pressing the PCB into the plate. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take the bottom condoms off here. So, a pair of wire cutters. You're not trying to snip it, just grabbing hold of it, twist and pull off. And as you can see, the little condom comes off the leg. And there we go as well. So that switch should now clip in and push straight into the PCB. There we go. Okay, and that gives us ready to solder. That's all the switches in. As you can see, everything's nice and flush all the way around. Beautiful copper. It says it's all flush all the way around. There it is, now it is. Keep the copper LEDs. Just straighten that one up because we've bent it pressing on the board. There we go. All nice and even, all looking great. Some of this rubbish out of the way. Pop the condoms in there so I don't lose them. Okay, so now what we're going to do, guys, is move on to the soldering. So I'm just going to quickly roll out another mat here just so I don't damage anything. The last thing I'd want to do is damage my lovely new mat. And I will excuse this mat as well. It's been used to desolder the Nixie board quite recently, so it's absolutely filthy. Okay, so here, this is where we're going to do our soldering. Let's see if we can get this bit better light free. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my trusty soldering iron. I am, if I remember where I put it. Okay, I did have it out earlier. Right. There we go, it's under the mat. And our usual Kester solder. And there we go, we've got that as well. Didn't the VEA have problems with the SART connection? So there's two rounds of the VEA. The first one was a Korea-only group buy, which had about 100 boards in it, and that was the only one that supported ISO, which is this one. That didn't have any problems with the SATA connections. The second round that was done by Mastrop that had the ANSI board, they tried to take some shortcuts on the PCB, and that's the one that has the problem. So yeah, some of them do. You're also one of those people that uses an old mat. Yeah, I just don't want to damage the nice new one. So soldering iron's up to temperature. We do use the TS100. As I say, this is Kester solder, leaded solder. Best way to be. Comes in a nice pound reel. Just going to tin the tip of the soldering iron. And then we're going to move straight into the soldering, and we're just going to do row by row. And make sure we get each switch. This build's not going to have any LEDs in it. It is just going to be the switches. I wouldn't use LEDs on a build like this, purely from a personal preference. Just double checking all the switches are fully depressed before we solder them. Eyeballing that, dead easy to see if they're out of place, out of position. So if guys, you can hear that, my dog's just rooting around in the bin underneath me. Okay, and that is row 1 soldered. Nice and nicely. No ventilation soldering. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the air is being blown that way. I do have a fan on just outside the room. So yeah, we are all good with that mat, and the window's open as well. So we've got plenty of ventilation. Huff that vlog. Yeah, I'm not sure I should be doing that on stream. I'll be getting banned from Twitch. But we are practicing good soldering safety here. Just going to add a touch more solder to that one. There we go. And then we're going to move on. One of the interesting parts of this build, which is the wooden inserts I'll show you for the case. They are actually now in production, so they should be here in a few weeks' time. So once they do arrive, we can get those on stream and just finalise the build. This is a build that will be forever evolving. I don't think it'll ever be truly finished. But I think that's what endgame is in this hobby. The build that you keep tinkering with, that's your endgame. A bit like cars. Two more switches to go on this row. Oh, spin. There we go, that's that row done. As you can see, my arm is now feeling a lot better as well. I know a couple of weeks ago I was struggling with my arm, but it's a lot better now. What's the worst that can happen? I think it's the lead more than anything that's potentially a problem. Just going to reflow this one. I think in terms of any other health deficits from solder fumes, I think you're all fine. I hope you guys can see on stream that the solder fumes are blown away from me here. Very, very little bits coming to me. I'm just going to quickly finish up this row. As I say, this PCB will need a bit of a clean with some isopropyl alcohol afterwards, but that's dead easy to do, and we'll definitely crack on with that once we've got the build sorted. The main part is getting this board actually built up and usable, which has taken a bit of time to get there, but we're almost there now, folks. Almost there. Flying through these now. Touch my solder on that one. There we go. Got to be careful with these condom pieces as well, because some of them don't want to accept the solder, so you sometimes end up with cold solder joints. So you have to be really careful with that. Give them just a little bit longer on the heat if that's the case. Just make sure you're being really robust with the solder. Don't be scared of giving it too much. You're not going to give it stupid amounts. This is the caps lock key. Over into the macro row here, which are going to be dedicated ship posting keys. I'll need to work out what exactly they're going to do when I get around to it. It's healthy to try Chinese food. Are just now that much? Wow, nice. Salt and chili chicken noodles. What does peng mean? It means well, not of the highest quality. It means something really good, something really great. So you might say a girl was really peng if she was hot. I say, don't be too scared of giving it a bit of heat. It's pretty difficult to kill modern circuit boards. Okay, guys. Slowly getting there. Just one more row to do after this. Final row. Go back and add a bit of solder to that first one. Okay. A few more switches left now, but we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Last switch, here we go. And done. There we go. And that's the last part of the VEA that needed to be soldered together. Wind this solder back up, pop it away. And back to the lovely desk there. And there we go. So that's that all soldered together. So this is going to be this side of the board. So what we're going to do now is pop it back together. You guys will see what it's going to look like in its entirety. So the first thing we have to do is just screw the plate into the housing. So we're just going to pop that on here. We've got the screws just here, my little screwdrivers there. Mark on the back there. There we go. Just going to go the two middle ones first of all, just to bite everything together. These aren't fully tightened yet. We'll tighten them up after we've done the rest of the screws. It's just for alignment purposes only at the moment. Okay, now we're going to do diametrically opposed. So go into this corner here. Nice and tight. Come up into this corner here. Again, nice and tight. Last two now. Oops. Fortunately, these screws aren't magnetic, which is slightly frustrating. Forget that. There we go. Last screw, and then we'll tighten the two middle ones up. The middle ones. Okay, there we go. And then, as I said before, we are going to get the wooden parts made for this. So the first wooden part that we're going to have is this internal liner, which is for the underglow. This just comes out of there. That's going to be replaced by a nice piece of walnut. That's going to have a piece of walnut sitting in there instead of that. And here we go. You can now see what that half of the board's going to look like. How good is that, guys? Look at that shine. That's so nice. And then, in terms of the actual bolting the board together, it does use nylon screws for sound dampening purposes, which work really well. You do have to be careful with these. You can't over tighten them because it's dead easy to strip the heads. So you just have to be careful. Again, diametrically opposed. Just make sure we've got the case fully aligned, fully seated. Screwed down. And the last one. And there we go. There we have it. That is one half of the VEA. This is the other half of the VEA. And this is the two connected together. As I say, we have got a cable coming from Pexham, which should be here on Monday, Tuesday this week. There we go, guys. What do you think to that? How nice does that look? How nice is that? The index finger space back, there you go, that's how it works. That's how we do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rest of the caps on. Now, as you can see, I do have two sets of Solarized Dark, which is a boon for me because it does mean that I have an extra set of F keys, so I can put these on the macro cluster. So we're just going to pop these on first. The other thing I have coming as well, guys, that I've just picked up is the I've got GMK Oblivion in the white. I've just ordered GMK Oblivion with the grey alphas, with the monochrome mod as well. So one thing that we might end up changing on this board is they might end up moving to an Oblivion build. So we'll see how that goes. Haven't decided fully yet. F6, F7, F9, and F10. There we go. So that's the F row cluster put onto that. There we go. Just using SATA as a serial connector. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. Yep. Fit as fuck. Yeah, it looks great. It's one of my favourite things. It looks hot as hell. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly put on the ISO keys from the set. So we're going to put the stepped caps lock key on. We've got the 2 key and the 3 key for ISO. We've also got the pipe key, which is just going to go there, and the short shift. There we go. And then we're back into full tray mode to get the rest of the layout done. Just going to quickly pop these on there. Yeah, so the new cable is coming on Monday. I can't wait for it, if I'm completely honest. I'm really excited to see what Pexon does. Usually all my cables come from Max at Cable Car Designs, who does a really great job. But Max is unfortunately not able to do SATA cables, so that's why we've gone with Pexon for this one. But Pex is a great lad. He's one of my favourite guys in the world. He's a big, giant, cuddly teddy bear, and I love him to bits. So show him your support, guys. Okay. Then we need to work out what we're going to do for this bottom row position here. Control. I think we want a 1.5U exclamation mark key. Alt. And then the other thing we're going to do is, in fact, actually, so what we're going to do, we're going to just switch this out. In there, pop that on there, and I do have the spacebar kit for this set as well. Just going to find the right size spacebar for this. There we go. Back in here, finish off the QWERTY row. That copper plate looks so good. Yeah, the copper plates look great and they sound fantastic as well. Chris Wise has just done a sound test difference between Alu and I think it's Alu and copper. That's well worth checking out as well. I'll have one in a couple of weeks with the Noxry X75 when I build the plate I showed you earlier on. I'm going to rebuild the brass plate we did a couple of weeks ago with vintage blacks, and we'll have that build as well with vintage blacks as well. So I'll be able to show you guys exactly what that looks, feels and sounds like. I haven't decided on which escape I want to use on this board. I kind of want to keep the teal to a minimum, so I think I'm going to go with the black one. Let me know if I'm wrong in the chat. Solarized Dark, yeah, this is my favourite GMK set, that's why I've got it twice. It's absolutely one of my favourite sets. I think it's just a lovely looking set. Use both. I can't really use both. I've got the teal escape up on this one. I think we're going to stick with the black one. I'm going to change that out for the black key as well if there is one in this set, just to give it a little bit more consistency down this left hand side. There is. So I'm just going to quickly change this key out. There we go. That looks much nicer. And then we're just going to put the last F keys on here. As I say, if I don't use this board particularly much over the next couple of weeks, I apologise. I'm still learning to touch type, but we are getting there slowly but surely. And as I say, the other thing that might change on this is we might change to Oblivion alphas, or the Oblivion key set when I get the second half of that in. So there we go, guys. This is the VEA. We'll get the tent in stand kit out as well. You can see what that's going to look like when it's tented. apologise, this does need a bit of a clean and a wipe down. Now, one thing I am going to do is change these for either walnut to match the inserts of the case, or I'm going to have them cut in copper or to match the plates. So we'll see how that goes. But as you can see, I think this looks mighty fine as a board right there. So we'll fix that cable when the new one comes. Nice split board, looks fantastic. Oh, it's a bit wobbly, is the stand. Oh, it's the bottom of the board on there. What's wobbling here? Okay, so what we've got, it's a bit of rubber from somewhere, not sure where that's come from. Still got a bit of wobble under there, not quite sure what's causing this. Interesting. There we go, guys. There we go. Do some touch typing if you will. Yeah, okay, let me get this a bit closer together and I'll do a little bit of touch typing and I'll show you guys. It's coming along really slowly is my touch typing, so I do apologise in advance for this. But yeah. As you can see, I am struggling with it a little bit, but it's just one of those things. I will get there in time. I do apologise, but yeah, anyway, don't worry about my typing for now. If I'm going to type normally, I can type normally. See, oh, I'm going for the Y there, so I need to remember that. Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I will practice my typing. That's what this board's for. It will be end game for when I can touch type. I don't want to do it under pressure. You guys are putting me off. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be typing on for the majority of the time. I think it looks great. I think the copper up here looks fantastic. You can just see the copper streaking down here. I know you guys can't see from because the camera's not directly above, but you can see the copper shining in between the keys. I hope you guys can see that as I just move that across, which just looks absolutely lovely. And I'm super stoked and super happy with it, and just really glad to see the board all finally built up. Once I've got the new cables in there, I will definitely take some pictures. The only other thing to do though, guys, is to show you this, which is my actual copper braided cable from Max. This is probably going to be the actual cable I use for powering the board. So I'll just plug this in and show you guys what this looks like. So as you can see there, it's got the underglow. I'm not a massive fan of the underglow. Probably will turn that off. But as you can see, the whole board is now up and running and working. Copper cable, copper plate, copper logo, copper lights. Cable up here matches otherwise dark. So there we go. Just remember to never look down. Yeah, don't worry about it. I can type. I can hit 60 words a minute now. I'll just touch typing on the normal thing when I practice. The split will take a while to get used to. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the RGB on the board. I don't know how well it's coming through on camera. It's kind of pastel colours. It's better than some. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. There we go. That's the VEA all built and all good to go. I'll take some nice pictures of this after we finish the stream tonight and get them up on there. And we'll go for that. Let's catch up with chat. We all start somewhere. Yeah, miles better than mine. Hey, I can touch type on the normal board. It's going to take a while for me to adjust to the split, but I'll get there. And that's the whole point of buying this board, is to actually teach me how to do that and how to get to that position. So I will get there. I'm fully confident in it. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Stock's got 85. That's really good, man. That's really good. Oof, RBG. Yeah, the RBG is okay. It's nice. It's subtly done. It does go around the whole edge of the board. You guys can see the gap is all the way around the edge. So it is nice. I just think walnut would look nicer in there, and some walnut or some copper here. Maybe one walnut or copper. Don't know. I'll have a think. We'll get the VEA logo cut into it as well. Did I buy GMK Burgundy? I don't have GMK Burgundy R2, but I do have the R1 one. So yeah, 6 is on the wrong side. No, the Y is just on the right side, the 6 is there. I think that's alright. Let's just see if we can make the underglow copper really quickly. Let me see if I can show you guys that. Let me see if I can get that up. Where's the software now? Might take me a minute, guys. I apologise. I've got the software somewhere on this PC. Apparently not where I thought it was, which means it must be in this folder. There we go. So let's see if I can make this copper underglow. Let's connect, let's disconnect and try again. Boot mapper is being its usual self. Could be the USB port I'm using on the camera. I'll try that offline and I'll take some pictures of that. I'm sure it would look nice. You're right. So I'll take some pictures of that offline and I'll try that and I'll upload them as well. Yeah, we said 6 on the wrong side. I think it's on the right side. It's on the left side, not right side, but you know what I mean, it's on the correct side. Do the poly screws glow too? I've not actually looked at that. Yeah, they do actually. I don't know if that shows on camera, but you can see the glow through them. Yeah. There you go, you can probably see it on this one. There you go. You see that change of colour? There you go. Do you know what? I just go straight to typing on this one. Well, I'm actually going to use the Alice to force me to do it, and then I'm going to go from there. And I do need to be productive, as mine says. So yeah. GMK Red Samurai going for like 250 on MM right now. Yeah, I want Red Samurai desperately. I got it. I proxied it for a friend, and ever since I proxied it, I've really badly wanted it. So yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the screws are amazing, glove. Yeah, I agree. They're really nice. They are really good. But anyway, this is the VEA build. It has been a ton of fun putting this together with you guys. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'll show you what the plan is for the TGR Alice. I'm getting caps everywhere from this set that I'm not using. But yeah, that's the build, guys. That is the build. And as I say, I can't wait to get the replacement for this. That's just to get it working for now. I did join Modern Dolch, and I probably will join Chocolatier as well, yes. I already have Carbon, so I won't be joining that again. There's no point in having that done twice. Yeah, RGB on your screws. Yeah, that's a good point. So for the Alice, what we have here is Nixie switches. So these are stock original Nixies, all taken apart. They come with diodes in the switch, original stems. They're basically vintage blacks, but with I can't remember what the name from these tops are. Milky tops. But yeah, these are milky cherry tops, not Gateron tops. So this is what we're going to use for the TGR Alice. What we're going to do is probably going to spend 10 minutes or so just setting these up and getting ready to use these. I'm not going to build the Alice this week. That will be next Sunday's job. I can only stream once a week due to work commitments, but next Sunday we will put that board together and we'll have a look at that and see how it works. I'm hoping my Alice wrist rest will be here for that join as well. So we'll take a look at that and see how it goes. They are going to do another GMK Oblivion. As I say, I've got the white Oblivion and I've got the dark Oblivion coming as well, both GMK. So I can't wait to get the dark one. I bought that off of Quakeham's Brian from Top Clack just the other day. So yeah, so I can't wait for that to arrive. GMK Oblivion Round 2 is going to happen in 2019, I've been told. I don't know when in 2019. I'd bet on the second half, so we'll see. But yeah, we'll see. Probably Q2, Q3, something like that for next year. That's broadly where I'd expect it to be. Okay, let me just close down some of these windows. Okay, so Nixie switches. The only other thing as well that's worth bearing in mind for the for this is that I am going to have a Nixie switch left over that I can't use, and this is slightly different to the normal Nixie switches. This is a Nixie spacebar, so it has a stock linear clear stem, and it's the only cherry switch to do so, which is quite interesting. But this one is going to be given away to a friend of mine. He's been searching for one for a long time. Max, if you're watching, I love you, man. I'm going to send you this in the post in the next couple of weeks, along with some other bits and pieces as well. I know you've been looking for that for a long time, so I'm going to send that your way. And that leaves me with about 125 Nixie switches. We need about 60 for the TGR Alice. The remaining ones I haven't decided what I'm going to do with yet. So yeah, we'll just work out what that goes for. They do go for crazy money on MM. I'm not trying to, I don't like to scalp things or anything else. So realistically, I don't think I'll sell these on MM. I think I'll probably find a private buyer, and I'll sell these at pretty much what the cost to me was, whatever's left over. But these have been ultrasonically cleaned. They are in good shape. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is just literally bob them into the switch holder that you guys saw before. The other thing as well is, whilst they've been in the ultrasonic, some of the diodes have fallen out. Now, I'm not going to use the diodes that are in these switches as diodes. I think they just look nice. They complete part of the look of the switch. It's not really a Nixie if it doesn't have a diode in it. So what we're going to do is just make sure all of these do have the diodes in the front of them. And if they don't, there are some loose that have fallen out in there. So giveaway, yeah, so I am going to do a giveaway, Martin, and there's going to be two things that are going to be up for the giveaway. And the first thing is something that I want to show you. So that one doesn't have a diode in, but it could be in the bottom, so we'll come back to that. The first thing is something I'm going to show you, and this is what I created for some friends of mine. And what these are is these are 3D printed in clear filament big switch holders. So these are for the switches that are 4 times the size of a normal switch that Novelty's produced. I think you can still get them on a few websites. So I'm going to print another one of these. As I said, this is the prototype. This is the first one I did on my 3D printer. This is for Max. I've got another one for Tidal. I don't know if either of those guys are watching. But what I want to do is give away one of these on stream in the next couple of weeks. I'm really happy with the way these come out. They are really nice. I will buy whoever wins a big switch as well, just in case I don't have one, and I'll ship that directly to them from wherever we can buy them from. I think they're only on Keyboard Fans now, but I will print this out for them. So yeah, this will be one of the next giveaways. I need to print it off first. As I say, this one is going to Max or Josh. The other one I've got, which is just here. This is for both of them. Yeah. So yeah, so that's going to be the next giveaway. You'll be able to send it into a lamp. You'll be able to do all sorts of different bits and pieces with them. So whoever wins that will get one of those in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, I'm keeping the diodes in the switch just for looks. As you can see, they've been completely clipped flush on the bottom. They won't be touching anything. Yeah, it's just one of those things. So I am going to keep the diodes in there, Pinger. I just think they look good. They look different. I won't use LEDs in a build anyway, so why wouldn't I keep the diodes in there for ultimate means? Yes, I would use a Nixie's are like $7 to $10 each. I'm not going to sell these at market rate. It's not that I'd feel guilty, it's just not me. I've never sold anything in this hobby for more than what I paid for it, and I don't intend to start now. That's just the way I feel about it. But yeah, different stuff for different folks. I don't mind people that do, you know, sell them for market rate. That's fine. That's entirely up to them. I completely understand why they do that. If I needed the money or something else, my circumstances were different, I'd probably consider it. So I completely understand that. Still seems like a super odd idea, but to keep the diodes in. It's just for looks, man. Just for looks. If you're going to go with memes, why not go all out with the memes? Why not go all out with them? Yeah, the Epic lamp. Yeah, so these, because it's clear filament, LEDs actually shine through it quite well. I don't think I've got anything where I can show you that. Maybe, there you go. Oh, you see it got blue? There you go. So LEDs look really good. So turning it into a lamp with some LEDs in the bottom, switch on top, have it as a lamp. It does have the mount in the bottom for a Pro Micro, so you can control it all. Yeah, I think it'll look really great, and as I say, that's what I want to give away. Just this and the big switch. I'll buy one for whoever wins. We'll do it on the next stream after the TGR Alice build. I'll 3D print it in the week, ready for that giveaway. I'll order the switch for the person that wins as well, and yeah, I'd love to see their build when they're finished with it. Okay. I love memes. Yeah, memes are good. Good for me. I'm not sure what you mean there, avid user, but okay. I just, yeah. Oh, do you mean in reference to selling stuff on MechMarket? Yeah, I'm not out to make a profit. I don't want to scalp people. I completely understand why people do want to make a profit. That's fine. Just different strokes, different folks. Glove Caps can confirm Jay is the best person to buy from. Yeah, you're one of the few people I've sold things to, because I don't generally sell stuff. But yeah, there probably are not many people knowing that. Yeah, for selling at cost. But I have no reason to sell for anything more. I don't want to profit and stuff like that. It's just, I don't see why anyone would want to profit unless they need the money. And if they need the money, well, hey, that's fine. You know, that's completely understandable. Get Razor stems in there. Yeah, we could do. I do actually want some Razor switches if anyone has any, because I want to make some Holy Resers just for another meme build that I've got coming up. So if anyone does have any, let me know. And we've got Puya in the chat. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not sure, but hey, good to see you. Nice to see you in chat. What switch is in the canoe? In the canoe here, I'll show you. We have Holy Pandas. That's what's in the canoe. The whole board's full of them. Someone said the other day when I showed them that it wasn't, so there you go, that's proof. Yeah, the whole board is full of Holy Pandas. The canoe's not particularly light. It's a pretty hefty board. It's probably in the region of, I don't know, 1.8, 1.9 kilograms, something like that. It's pretty hefty. Puya, yeah, hold on, I'll show you something. So this is my polycarb Singer from round one. This is using lubed tangerine switches. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's a stunning bit of kit. It looks fantastic. Looks great from whatever angle you look at it. So yeah, absolutely, get one. Jump on it while it's there. R2, go for it, guys. Go for it. Get it. Yeah. You're coming from large board, usually a TX 1800 or TXCP. Oh, okay, yeah. They are heavier. This is something that'll be on stream in a couple of weeks. So this is my TX 1800 V2. I can't remember if this is the blue one or if this is the grey one. So let's have a look. I've got one of each colour. Okay, so this is the grey one. Try and move this out of the way. There we go. So I'm going to be rebuilding this on stream in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, that's all ready to go, ready to be rebuilt. But you're right, this one is in the region of 6.5 to 7 kilograms, fully built up. I've got a blue one as well. Yeah, I'm going to go for Revo whites in the TX 1800 V2. I'm going to build it with Revo whites. They'll be stock apart from the springs, but I will lube them, and the springs will change for 63.5 gram. 63.5 gram sprit springs. Yeah, Kin does ISO on the plate, so the plate that I've got for that is ISO only. All my plates are ISO only. I don't know if you saw the one on the VEA earlier on, but that is ISO only. I'd like to try and do fixed plates wherever possible. Where can you buy the Polycarb Singer? Yeah, post a link to its Cat Weewee's site, so Elaine's site. I think it's just singerkeyboard.co.uk. polycarb.com, something like that. But yeah, you feel free to post a link, folks. Elaine's a good friend of mine. So when I actually got my polycarb Singer, I was just about to get married, and Elaine was kind enough to give me free shipping because I was getting married as a bit of a marriage gift. So that was really nice. That saved me $60. It was really nice of her. So yeah. Singer polycarbonate is gorgeous. Yeah, it is. It's lovely. It's lovely material. If you guys want to hear the proper sound test, it's on my YouTube channel. Definitely go and listen to that. It is really, really, really good. As I say, we're just going to get these switches ready for all of the work that's going to go into them. We are going to keep them as stock Nixies. We're just going to lube the springs. I'm tempted to, as I say, lube the stems as well, but not the housings. And the main reason for that is just because I want to keep them as close to stock as possible. So if I ever do offload the board, it's not a total meme. You know, people are going to understand what they're getting. They can do whatever they want to the board from there. Without a diode in. As I say, I have got diodes dropping around in the box. I'm not sure if you can see them there. So as soon as we've got the majority of these in, whichever diodes have fallen out, I'll pop them in some of these empty switches and bob them back into the rotation. So there you go. Do I switch around key sets often, or when I pick a set, does it sit on the board? I do occasionally change key sets around. Like, I might change the key set on the VEA to Oblivion, depending on what it looks like when I get the 2 Oblivion kits through that come in. But by and large, when I do a build, I kind of design it from the ground up. Like on the canoe, I've filled in the logo to match the keycap set, to match the plate. The plate's like the same colour as kind of a teal colour, which matches the weight as well. So the weight's the same. The LED is colour coded to the same colour as the caps. It's difficult to show you on stream, but you see it's kind of a teal colour, and it goes red when I hit caps lock. So yeah, so I do try and theme my builds when I'm doing them, but that's just the way I like to do it. Did I install the LEDs for underglow on the Singer? Yes, I did. They are installed on there. I've had a little bit of a problem because mine's an R1 Singer, getting them to work. I just need to work out which pin out it is so I can code it properly in QMK. But yes, yeah, the underglow looks really good on that board. It's one of the few boards that I like underglow on. Okay, starting to get there now, guys. I say lots of Nixie switches. Martin is kindly going to rebuild the Nixie board. The Nixie board's a sound test on YouTube as well. Now I do think I can make it sound a ton better, but Martin's kindly offered to rebuild it for me, so I'm going to send him some retooled blacks. So whilst it won't have the original switches in there, what we will be able to do is rebuild the device, get it up and running, convert it to USB, and just try and make sure that we've got that heritage, that history there. We're not losing that. Going to try and push this in a little bit. There we go. So another one now with a diode back in there. Okay. As you can see, we're starting to get board pretty much filled now. Hopefully we won't run out of space on here before we get all the switches out. This is just to make sure that we're prepared for the build for next week. As I say, I struggle to do things during the week with work and stuff, so I try and do as much preparation as I can on the weekend before. Gloves, just checked out the Singer, so tempted and don't know if you should buy it. You might have to get some more caps made. Yeah, glove, man, get one, because you must have tried my polycarb Singer at the meetup. You must have tried it. It is one of my favourite boards. It's definitely in my top 5 boards I own. yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous board. Even Max really likes it, and Max doesn't like anything these days. So if you've got the opportunity to get one, I would advise everyone to get one. As long as you have the money for it, don't go getting yourself into debt for it. It's very naughty. It is very, very naughty. Okay, so we're almost there now, guys. We're almost there. I'm hoping that this is going to hold just the right amount of switches. I feel like I'm going to be a few switches over. I'm going to have like 4 or 5 switches over. So hopefully that'll be the ones that don't have diodes in. But we'll see. As I say, these have been ultrasonic cleaned. They spent 12 hours in the ultrasonic cleaner. I've got an industrial sized one, so that was good fun. Now I know not all of these switches do have diodes. There were 3 or 4 in the board that had the diodes soldered into the board, as would be standard these days. So there will be a few that don't have them available at all, but I would imagine that the vast majority of these will be full. But I do think they look kind of cool with the diodes in. Make sure I push these in properly. Okay. You have 5 of gaming kits ready for sale, so that and another 5. Yeah, get them sold, man. Get them sold. Get the Singer R2. People go buy gloves, caps, and buy the Singer R2s. Do both things. Do I plan on joining Jane R2? Probably not, because I'm pretty sure that the Jane R2 doesn't support ISO. If I'm wrong and it does, let me know, and I'll probably consider it. But as far as I'm aware, it doesn't support it. Oh, we've got Xander as well. Hey, man. Good to see you, dude. Right at the end of the stream. VEA is built. And we're now just prepping switches for the Nixie build in the Alice next week. So that board's all ready to go, and then we'll have switches set up and ready to go as well, ready for the stream. So I know there's 3 or 4 of these switches that don't have diodes, so I'm just going to take those out now, make sure we've got them to one side. And I've got a feeling I'm going to be a few. Yeah, this is going to be really frustrating. Yeah, really frustrating, because I thought this board was big enough for all these switches, but apparently it's not. But literally 3 or 4 switches short here. If only that damn logo wasn't there, that would have fit perfectly. And then those are the 5 that don't have diodes. So there we go. That's all ready now, ready for the Nixie build next week. So yeah, we'll see if we can get there. Yeah, I think it's the PCB as well. I would use the PCB doesn't support ISO, so if that doesn't happen, it means custom PCB as well. And by that point, it's probably not worthwhile considering. So as much as the nicer board is, then yeah, and I work really closely with Laser Boost. I've been helping Laser Boost to design some standard plate files, their keyboard site. I've been helping them with that. Laser Boost are really, really good friends. I really love the guys that work there. I did post some pictures that I shared with their manufacturing person on Reddit a couple of weeks ago under my username Nodgers, Nojjers. So yeah, so it's been amazing. Glove, well done. You bought the Polycap Singer. Nice, man. You need to tell me what switches you're going to use for that. Oh, so happy for you, man. That's such a good board. You're really going to enjoy that. Yeah, switches. Yeah, definitely think about the switches that are going in it. Didn't think about the PCB. Yeah, it's one of the big problems I have with a lot of customs. Does the custom support ISO? If it does, I can generally get a plate made. Martin's really good at, and Wilbur as well. They're both really good at helping me recreate plates. So the Nox X75, when Zonda designed it, it only supported ISO. Sorry, only supported ANSI. Yay, in case subscribe. Thanks, man. That's really cool of you. Thank you, dude. So yes, so Zondervan designed it with ANSI in mind. He didn't design it with ISO in mind. I retrofitted it to make it fit ISO with help from Wilbur, and then we did the whole ISO thing for the VEA as well with Martin as well. So both of those guys, absolutely hands down. If you need a plate, both of those guys can help you out with that as well. Thank you, Kate. I'm really thank you, man. Thank you for subscribing. That's made my day. That's made my night. Thank you all. First Polyboard. Yeah, Glove. It's an amazing board. You're really going to be good. What else we've got? Grassland Singer. Yeah, that board fits 110 switches. That should clear enough switches for the Alice. Xander, yeah, this is just all the nixes. I wanted to get all of the nixes ready, all of the nixes sorted. As I say, I balanced those two there, and then I've just got 5 left over. But effectively, I just wanted to get them all done, all sorted, ready for doing the Alice, and then whatever was left over was left over. It was built to a decent standard with the original springs, but nicely lubed and all that kind of stuff. Just wanted them ready for whatever I decide to do with them afterwards as well. You really dislike how Monochrome has a set design, basically put the ISO keys in a €35 kit. Yeah, so there's a lot of I've got really big thoughts on the whole ISO thing, and my view is it should be in the base set. It's definitely something that should be in the base set. Whether that's UK ISO or if it's just standard ISO, I think it should be just standard ISO, and if you want the UK or the Nord or anything else, then you should have to buy kits, and I say that, you know, as an ISO UK user, as you can see from the 2 and the 3 on the canoe. But yeah, it's just something you need to consider. I do think Zambuon's latest approach with Chocolatier, where he's going to make them be 2 base kits. So if you're in the EU and you buy a base kit, you get the ISO kit included, but you pay a slightly higher price, versus if you're in America, you only get the ANSI base kit and you don't get the ISO keys at all. I think that's a really interesting approach, and I'll be interested to see how that plays out. Am I going to get the LEDs for the underglow for the Singer? I've already got them. Oh, you mean Glove? If not, you just want the WSB 2812s or whatever they are. Nice and simple, and you just need an affinity chip as well. It's dead simple to put together. Nice switch mod station. I've got a smaller one as well. I've got one that's slightly smaller than this. I don't know where it's gone. So I've got 2. In fact, you know what? I should use this for the one I've got. It's identical, just smaller. So, do you know what? We'll pop these in here, and then they're in a switch mod station as well. And it's all nicely lined up together. So you as UK would be fine with just the 4 necessary ISO keys. So I've got multiple feelings on this, and I'm trying to understand. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, man. Thank you. And my view says, so this is my honest view on it. So my view is ISO should be in the base kit. Now, there's so many different variations of ISO where there's only one version of ANSI. What should be agreed is a standard ISO layout kit that covers the layout. It includes your ISO enter, it includes the short left shift, it includes the keys next to the, so it includes this, it includes a key for here, it includes a key for here, it includes a key for here. So as long as it includes those 4 and it supports ISO, that's all it needs to do to fit the bill. Literally, that's all it needs to do to fit the bill. Everyone can manage with mismatched legends and things like that. Yeah, it's not ideal, and if you get the ISO UK kit or you get the Nord kit or anything else, that's perfect. But for a set to not have ISO in there at all, that's the problem. I think at the very least it should offer these 2 keys and these 2 keys. Not most, because there's other layouts that will use the short shift key. The pipe key is really important. You have to have that, whether it's just pipe on it or whether it's got the 2 arrows on it. You know, there's multiple variations of that key. There's this one as well. So I don't mind what that has. I know what that key does. The reason I use ISO is because that key's there, so it doesn't matter what the legend is to me much. But I think all sets should support ISO. If they don't, then that starts to lose my interest, and it starts to annoy me slightly as well. Let's catch up with chat, because I've just had a bit of a rant there. Most seem to include the extra UK keys and 1 extra R3 key. Yeah. Anti users in the UK lose out then. Yeah, they have to buy the ISO keys to support the ISO. Yeah, it is a little bit different. I get that, but it means everyone gets the base set. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Stocks, I think people just have to accept it. I have to buy ANSI keys and I don't use ANSI, so it's no different. It's the same way on. Yeah, these are from AliExpress. I think the larger one was $17, the smaller one was $15, something like that. Mechbox in the UK sells them as well, so you can get those. And a split backspace. I've never used a split backspace on any board ever, so not massively fussed for that. What type of stabilizers would you need for the Singer? I would advise you to get GMK screw-in stabilizers, very much like these, for the Singer, or alternatively you could get EPBT stabilizers as well, like these, when I can get the bag. Like these. These are the same as Zeal stabilizers. I've got Zeal stabilizers in my polycarb Singer. If I was building it now, I'd build it with these, purely for the LED underglow if you're going to use it, and it matches the case design as well. But for feel, I would always go with these. Simple as that. It's only 4 keys which you have in all of the molds for, so it can't cost them that much more to clean. I think it's something like £1.20, £1.30 to include the 3 keys here, and then I think it's about £1 for that. So you're talking a £5 at most on top of the set. Support community vendors, buy Zeal stabs. I wouldn't add, so my personal thing is I wouldn't say to buy Zeal stabs anymore. At one point I would have said, yeah, they're great, they're not worth the money as much because of the high price, but yeah, they're achievable, they're affordable, I suppose. But now that EBBT are the same, I would go with those. And yeah, Fax has just mentioned as well, yeah, he has got, thanks to my testing, he will now sell Torx screws with the stabilizers instead of just the posi-drive ones, so you can now get Torx head screws. I don't know if they're going to show up, but Fax shared these with me the other day. They're much nicer to screw in, less chance of cross-threading and all that kind of stuff as well. Well, if they know they can sell for sale, it's €10 a kit, they'll sell them outside the base kit. Yeah, more profit. You had $1 on per kit, and all of a sudden you're selling 2 kits, that's $2 profit instead of $1 from the base kit. I know the profit margins are very different on GMK sets, but yeah, it's easy to look at that. This will be your first high tier board, to be honest. Well, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, dude. Do share some pictures of it when you get it, and ask Elaine to send some pictures of the manufacturing process, because it's really interesting. Thanks to Jay, the screw-ins are now available. The Torx screw instead of Phillips for 75 cents added. That's great. Thanks. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have them every damn time now. So just do them standard for me. GMK stabs are awesome, and modding them is easy and doesn't take much time. Yep, I've run through that on a few of my build streams where I've shown people how to clip and lube them. It's dead simple, dead simple, and it's nice and easy to do. Cheap and good and not having issues with popping wires. So the Zeal popping wires only happened on round 1. On rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5 that's been fixed, and it's the same on the PPT stabs as well. There is no issue with the wires popping out there. They're nice and clipped in. No, thanks Max, thanks. Can you show your Singer from a few different angles? Yeah, I can grab it again and show you guys what you want. See? Just let me know what you want to see, Odin. So you can see the front here with the wing keyless blocker and the blocker for the arrows here as well. If we look at the top, you can see that it's center USB mounted. You can see the weights through there as well. On the side profile, you've got a nice grooved cutout here for your fingers so you can pick the board up. On the front, again, you can see the plate and the weight through the middle of there nicely. The screw points, the weight underneath with the lion, the weight on the inside. It does say Singer on the inside as well. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else I can show you. Do I bring a nice keyboard to work? I usually have a TX 1800 V2 at work. Both are currently being ready for rebuild at the minute. The blue one is the one that usually works with GMK ski data, and then I usually have the grey one with muted or Oblivion on there. I've had both on there at different points. So yeah, so I just need to rebuild them both as well. I usually keep one at work. Gorgeous, yeah, thank you, man. I love this board. It's one of my favourite ones. This key set works really well with it. GMK 9009. How heavy is the board? I can go and weigh it afterwards if you want, Glove, and I'll ping you, let you know. It's probably in the region of 1.3, 1.4 kilograms, just going by heft. It's not quite as heavy as the canoe. Yeah, it's lighter than the canoe, but not much, not massively so. Polycarb is really dense. It's really dense. It reminds me of the old N64 controls. Yeah, the old clear N64 controls. I had a couple of those, yeah, back in the day. So that is the Polycarb Singer. Let me know, Odin, if you want to see any more pictures. If you check out my Reddit, I've posted some pictures on there as well. So yeah. Yeah, you will have to solder in the switches, but it's dead easy to do. Go back and watch this stream or any of my other streams. You'll see how to do the soldering of the switches. It's dead easy. You push them into the plate, push the plate and the PCB together so the switches poke through. Blob of solder on there. It's dead easy. It's literally a case of soldering irons. This isn't turned on, so I'm not going to show you soldering iron. Soldering iron, solder, and then if this was the switches that we were doing, for example, what we would do is we would touch the pad and the pin on the bottom of the PCB. We'd feed the solder into it for a second, job done, and then same on the other pin, job done. That's literally all it is to it. Dead simple. Dead simple. If you wanted, I'd be happy to build it for you. I love to build boards. I am in the UK, don't know where you are in the world, so that might hamper things. If not, I can recommend people in other parts of the world that can do builds as well. GK64 was one of my first boards in the hobby, actually. GK64, the original one with the ALU case. That was one of the first boards I got, and then I got rid of it because it didn't do ISO, and I didn't realise. Don't touch the tip like that though. No, don't touch the tip. Yeah, you can't touch the tip. But yeah, you just feed the solder in gently. But yeah, I go watch the start of this video and you can see how I soldered the VEA together today. Best part of the hobby is building the board. It's like Lego for tech heads. Absolutely. The best part of the hobby for me is building them on stream and sharing it with you guys. I absolutely love doing that. It's one of my favourite things to do is show you guys my streams and builds of the boards and stuff like that. But yeah, Puya, if you want, I'm more than happy to do a build for you. Put it on stream. I can do it on stream. People can see. It's entirely up to you if you want to do that or not, or find someone else that's close to you in Germany. Absolutely happy either way. Build is all fun and games. Lubing is where the pain is. I don't mind lubing. I did an hour this afternoon of lubing the switches ready for the VEA. I don't mind it. It's nice and relaxing. I did it with a coffee and a cake. I just took my time and I really enjoyed it. It's nice and simple. Bag lube. Oh no, don't bag lube. Don't bag lube. That's a pain. Yeah, don't like that. You get it all over the stems and yeah, it's not good. TS100 and some vints. I've actually got a ton of vints that I've managed to sort out of my retools by checking which ones have been sold before. I'm probably going to just give them away at some point because I'll never use them. What upcoming key set are you most excited for? Modern Dolch, that's way up there. GMK Chocolatier, can't wait for that. I have Oblivion Dark coming, so I've had Oblivion with the White Alphas for a long time, since the group buy, and now I've got that coming. I've also got EBBT Black on White coming next week, so that's on its way to Tidal Josh for me. He's proxying that for me and getting it over. What else am I really looking forward to? There must be a couple of SAS key sets as well that I'm looking forward to. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't. There must be. Nautilus Nightmares as well. For me, that's a green version of Solarized Dark. That will be perfect. I will really be all over that as well. It's worth spending the time to lube manually. Yes, it is. Yeah. Space Cadet. Well, I already have Space Cadet, so I'm not massively fussed for that. I've got Space Cadet on the Hyper 7 board, which is currently in pieces because it's waiting for a rebuild. But yeah, the Hyper 7 board, if any of you guys have seen that on Reddit, that's already got that set on. It's got more keys than anything that you could possibly want. So I absolutely do not need another board with Space Cadet on. from 7-bit OG boards. So 7-bit designed the Hyper 7 and never got it built, never got it working, and I bought the keycaps off of the 7-bit group buy. With work from Yankar and a few other people in the UK community, we got the boards working with prototypes and PCBs. And then I was the guy that posted it on Reddit back in February sort of time, when the post went a bit viral, and then I ran a group buy for the PCBs as well. So some people now, I'm now not the only one with a Hyper 7 fully built, but yeah, it's good to see it coming out. So the OG boards, the Lisp machines, they're silly money. They're 4, 5, 6 grand when I've seen them go. I don't have one of those, and I have no intention of buying one. I've got a couple of OG keycap sets from GMK that were actually dice up as well. Some really, really old ones, or cherry as it was back then. But I'm not massively fussed. Not massively fussed for OG dice ups now. I just like what's nice and what's pretty, and what I like rather than liking what was popular. I really did like the Scarface caps that came up on Mech Market the other day though. It was crazy money. Yeah, €800 for a keycap set. I've spent some silly money on keycap sets. I think I spent something like €400 on SA Retro, but yeah, it's not always worth it in my opinion. Not always worth it. Yeah, but that's just the way it is. That's just one of those things. The other thing I wanted to do as well today is this is the first plate that I got cut for the VEA that was wrong on this side. I had planned on turning this into a switch tester. If anyone does want this, ping me. The first person to ping me on Discord can have it, and I'll post it out to you in the next couple of days. Just an example of what shiny copper is. You can use it as a switch tester or anything like that. Unfortunately, it's no good to me because it doesn't fit the VEA because we've got the stabilizer in the wrong position. But yeah, feel free anyone to ping me, and I'll post it out to you. It's one of those things that you're welcome to as a bit of a switch tester, and understand what the VEA lookout likes and what copper feels like as a plate. So yeah, if anyone wants that, ping me. If not, I'll just throw it away or something like that because I have no use for it now. So yeah, we'll go from there. Hey Keyboard Warriors, what's up? You're joining right at the end of the stream, but really, really good to see you. We're literally just about to do a bit of Q&A session, and then we're just about to pack up and finish the stream today, I'm afraid. But it's really good to see you, and I hope you check out the rest of the stream on the VOD, and check us out next time. Hypothetically speaking, if I were not to like the Singer for some reason, how much would I be able to get back at, say, Mech Market? Okay, so right before R2 got announced, we're going at Mech Market for upwards of $600. Realistically, once it's sold out, if you don't like yours, you will absolutely get your money back for it on Mech Market. The $380, whatever it is, even if it's built, you'll probably be able to sell it on Mech Market and not lose any money at all. Maybe a little bit in the postage, something like that. More molten copper fodder. So I couldn't melt this to make molten copper because I don't have a forge hot enough to melt 2mm thick plate steel. What I did for the VEA, I can't remember where I've put it now, I must have put it somewhere, is I used copper leaf and melted that because it's much thinner, it's much easier to get to melting temperature, and it's much easier to handle as well. So yeah, absolutely. Keyboard Warriors, thank you, man. I would love to see you on the stream next time, have a bit of a chat with you, answer some questions. Sure, we're building TGR Alice next week. These Nixie switches are what's going to go in that. The Alice is here. This is the Alice that we're going to be building on stream next week. The case is in peace at the moment, so we're going to be building this. We're also going to be infilling this logo as well, ready to match the keycaps. So we're going to be infilling this in titanium white, and I'll show you guys my method for doing that as well, so you can see it's here on the canoe. But I'll show you how we do that as well. So, unless there's any more questions, we'll just have one quick last look through the chat, and then we're going to close down and call it a night. It's getting late here, it's just gone 9:30. I've got work in the morning, so I need to be up for that. Nothing wrong with being new. Absolutely fantastic that you've joined the hobby, Puya, as I can't see you there. Is there any way to make a custom mech under $60? GH60 with a cheap $10 case, you might get there with switches included. You'll probably need, thank you for the thought, man, you'll probably need more money than that to get keycaps as well, but you could probably just about do it for $60, but it's not going to be an amazing board. Nice, you're going to fill in your Alice logo as well. Perfect. I'll show you my method for doing it, then you can try your method and try mine, whatever. Tell me what looks good, what you like, what you don't like. Yeah, okay, great stream. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. Yeah, see you Sunday at 7:30 UK time, whatever time that is for you as well. Oh, we've got Quadenka joining right at the very end, our top bit donator as well. Good to see you, man. I was shilling your desk mats earlier on as well. And Geo Gats switches GH60 non-M caps with $10 case. Yeah, you could probably just do it. Just do it. Yeah, you could probably just do it. With switches for $60. You'd probably be better off buying a built one rather than building one. But yeah, right. Yeah, really close because I'm literally just about to finish up now and sign off, guys. So I do really thank you guys for watching. It's been really great fun finishing the VEA. I can't wait to actually try it out and use it. I'll get some pictures with the orange underglow going and all that kind of good stuff, and I'll share that over the next couple of weeks, so watch out for that in the usual places. And yeah, it is the international kit match mat. It looks really good. I'm covering the logo up, but there you go. It looks fantastic. I absolutely love this mat, so thank you Quer and Egler for arranging that for me. And yeah, with that, I'm going to sign off, but thank you very much, guys, for joining me on the stream today. I hope to see you again next week, and if I do an impromptu stream as well, I'll give you guys a heads up. Thank you for all the follows, for the donations, for the bits, everything else today. It's been fantastic, and as always, been a pleasure seeing you. So I'll see you again. See you soon, guys. All the best, and have a great week.